You know what's crazy? 4.5 million Democrats have switched to the Republican side already in the last few days, in the last few months. Don't you think there's, like, libs, don't you think there's something wrong? There might be something wrong with your party if 4.5 million people are already switching to our side, to the Republicans. There shouldn't even be sides. It should just be one side. It should be one family. But it's not, because people have to be difficult. But what do you, like, I don't, like, what do you guys have to say about that? Like, people that were on your side for years are now switching to the Republican side because of how crazy you guys are. Does that not flip a switch in your brain? Does it? Does it not wake you the up? Your party is demonic, insane, delusional, crazy. Something's wrong. That's why people are switching.
When Texas turns blue.
Yes, what this lady said on this video is something these people don't even still get it. Watching Jasmine a few hours ago, she wants to turn Texas to blue, but she has a problem. There is a bigger problem with this. Watching her speech announcing she's running for, I was like,
Everybody, and I was like, I don't know that that's not necessarily a bad idea, but I'd have to think through it a lot. One of the things that they propose is black folk not have to pay taxes for a certain amount of time, because then again, that puts money back in your pocket. But at the same time, it may not be as objectionable to some people about actually giving out dollars. But obviously, then you start dealing with the different tax brackets and things like that. And that's one of the reasons that, we argue the reparations make sense, because so many black folk, not only do you owe for the labor that was stolen and killed and all the other things, right? But the fact is, like, we end up being so far behind, right? And so it's like, how do you bring forth people? Exactly. And so it's like,
okay, so she's talking about black people not having to pay taxes or black people getting reparations. The focus is in the wrong area. And there's too much focus on what can we get, or what breaks can we get, or how can we receive things. And there's not enough focus on actual financial literacy. Amongst black Americans, there's too much of a focus on looking rich compared to actually being rich. Black Americans love to consume. We're consumers, generally speaking. Consumers aren't the people who grow wealth. They're the people who pay the businesses that have owners that grow wealth. This was in 2021. Black spending power hit an all-time high of $1.6 trillion with a T. So in 2021, Americans had more spending power than we've ever had in the history of our existence. And in that same time, we decreased our net worth with more money. I want you to think about this. We got more cash, and with that cash, we decreased our net worth. The only way you do that is by making poor decisions with money. So when Jasmine Crockett is talking about closing the gap, giving black people money or a tax break is not what's going to close the gap, because not enough of us know what to do with the money when we get it. If you actually want to close that gap, we should be talking about changes in our culture, changes in the things we value, changes in what we invest in, changes in putting a lot of emphasis on financial literacy.
I really wish Jasmine can see this video. This is perfect. Announcing, thinking they should abolish tax for black people. I saw this blowing up on Twitter. Everybody was talking about this. It's a blast already. The gaslighting of this Democrat to now pretend they care about grocery prices, when for the previous 4 years they could not have care less about the 20% inflation caused by the Biden economics. Look at what these people are struggling to do now. They're struggling to paint a different image. And look at who is even talking, Jasmine, with a lot of controversies everywhere on social media, thinking she can turn Texas to blue. Somebody could do that. I don't believe Jasmine can actually do that.
How you make voters who previously voted for Trump, particularly given that you have been an outspoken critic and he has inserted himself, just take your campaign video as is. He has inserted himself at every turn when it comes to your commentary. How will you convert those who are supportive of him to voters for you?
Yeah, I don't know that we'll necessarily convert all of Trump supporters. That's not our goal.
Do you need to?
Our goal is to definitely talk to people. No, we don't. We don't need to. Our goal is to make sure that we can engage people that historically have not been talked to, because there's so many people that get ignored, specifically in the state of Texas. Listen, the state of Texas is 61% people of color. We have a lot of good folk that we can talk to. We know that when Beto came really close, Beto, who is a progressive, we know that he got 65% of the Latino vote. So what did they do after that? They specifically went after Latinos. We know that he got close to 90%, or right there at 90% of the African American vote. So honestly, what we need to do is start talking to the vast majority of Texas. I think my message is very much a mainstream message. I don't know who disagrees with the fact that affordability is a real thing, except for the president, who says it's a Democratic hoax. But when somebody goes to the grocery store nowadays, whether it's in East Texas or whether it's right here in Dallas, Texas, or whether it's in Austin or West Texas, let me tell you, they are looking at those grocery prices and they are thinking we deserve better. Knowing that we do the amount of trade that we do in the state of Texas, yet right now there are these unwarranted tariff wars. That is
Yes, buckle up, because the circle just broke into Texas. On December 8th, radical leftist firebrand Jasmine Bleach Blonde Crockett announced she is running for U.S. Senate against John Collins, looked straight into the camera and told President Trump, "I'm coming for you." Collins took one look and ran back to his safe house, said conservatives are already loving calling her Crazy Jasmine and a walking DEI disasters. And Collins' teams can't stop smiling because this is the easiest layoff they will ever get. I did a video about this. This man abandoned his seat, run away because of Jasmine. I don't know. He was bullied. Jasmine believing that he can turn Texas to blue is a dream. I don't know if it will ever come true.
Let's get into it. Okay. She ain't never scared and she ain't never been. Who is willing to go toe to toe against the president? I can't wrap my head around someone who votes Republican. She advocate for feeding kids, they protect folks touching them. Trump invading his own country with our army, what a joke. We remember Pearl Harbor by illegally, but y'all thought we wasn't gonna do nothing, buddy, think again. They only trying to scare her out of running, cause they think she'll win. Listen, thought I told y'all we ain't never scared. Now look who name on the docket. Got 2 words for every racist bigot. Jasmine Crockett.
when Texas turns blue, it won't be because of any one candidate, but because of each and every one of you doing your part. Turning Texas blue is what I want to talk to y'all about today. Now, there are those that say, ain't no way, we done tried it 50 kinds of ways. Let me be clear, y'all ain't never tried it the JC way. We used to telling us what I can't do, but they have no idea what Crockett's crew will do. And so I just want to be clear, for all the haters in the back, listen up real loud. We gonna get this thing done.
You know, the funniest part about this whole thing is that this lady continued to go after Trump, his supporters. This is a high time for her to struggle to convince them to change their minds. This is what she should be doing. She came with a rapper. I believe you heard what the guy said. And she believes she can turn Texas blue. That's funny, right?
We got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
This ridiculous tyrant is trying to do everything that he can to break our democracy.
It's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard.
Timo Hitler in the White House right now that thinks that he is going to become the dictator of the United States.
Now, Vinny, I mentioned that she...
I'm going to end here. I want to appreciate people supporting me, sharing out the videos. God bless you abundantly. Never stop supporting me as of the short tips. That is for the YT algorithm.
or Satan's side.
And that was my first instinct.
Should have more Republicans on the show, but they don't want to come on. They're scared of us.
It's like
history.
point when I say I'm not going to be apocalyptic.
Even get an off.
If the Democrats
Because how many times do somebody asks
for?
JD Vance should be the next president of the United States. If you want to serve in the American
give interviews, I don't do that.
JD Vance should be the next president of the United States.
Happening at the moment.
Yeah.
President Obama is blatant censorship.
Because he says he has a team of fact checkers.
The FCC.
I want them to stop fooling around with my right to say what I feel.
Well,
It happened before anybody else watched The View, because I think there's...
I'm going to say one.
Look, there are certain rules of free speech that we must all abide by. But in case anyone needs a refresher, we're going to go over the rules again.
He does not have a right to have a television show.
To spreading lies.
Somebody to get up there, not
all the same people that are in these polite...
Disagree with what Gavin Newsom said that he doesn't.
Dave Chappelle.
Without of interest.
I mentioned last night Trump was bragging about how...
hey everybody, how you doing? It's Peggy D.
Many were surprised to see Darth Renner.
Between now...
60 minutes for editing an interview.
Going to get the best, and Pete has always been a